Okay. All right. So, um, welcome back, guys. Welcome back to this awesome lives. Naya week. Hello, hello, Manish. Hello, Vishak. Oh, unique something. Hi, Mohammed. Hi, Anu. Hi, Vinudha. Hey, very good evening. Welcome back. So today's live's topic is so much interesting. Yes, very good evening. Very good evening. All right. So, you guys like coming for the very first time, or you have joined any of my stream before for the very first time? Cool. That's awesome. So we already know today's topic is the most asked question, which is ki how to do this coding. Like we are starting our career or starting taking graduation in the coding, right? So maybe you are joining the BTech course or BCA course, BE course. Cool. So just to have a quick communication, please write in the chat what actually you are doing right now. You are a student, you are working, and if you are a student, what course you are enrolled into, BTech, BCA, or BE, whatever. Yeah, hi Kasub. Student ECE. Cool. So ECE, right? Okay. That's really nice. All right, everyone, keep writing. What if you're a student, write student and then give out a comma and write your course name, your BTech, BCA, what exactly you're doing. Yes, student. Wow, Vinita, great, awesome. BCA, Anu is doing BCA, excellent, cool. And since, as our title suggests, this is the introduction to coding for youngsters. So I'm very sure a lot of people just started their course journey, like BTech journey, BCS journey, or whatever they are enrolled into, EC, whatever it is. So you have just started it or recently started it. By recent, I means in the last 1 year. CS first year. Yeah, see, that's what I was expecting. Great, awesome. So, a quick introduction to myself. My name is Aditya Jain. Um, I'm from Educators. Educators is the online coding school where you learn a lot of programming languages. Okay, a lot of programming languages, databases, a lot of things are there. Okay, so and this is the live stream where actually you are watching the live stream and earning some tokens. So I hope you know about it. अगर नहीं पता, so we are about to do a live on the same topic. Yeah, so you are earning while learning. How much rhyming? Great. So what I have done, I have pulled some slides from educators. These slides are exclusive on educators. I have pulled just for you, and I will be sharing those. Give me a second. Screen share, and yeah. So these slides I actually give to the very beginners, okay, who just started their coding journey. So we are about to discuss that only. So this is the introduction to your coding, and I will be answering what is coding, should you learn coding, and a lot of tools I will be discussing. Actually, this is the biggest slide presentation. Just can the I will be giving you what should where you should start, like कौन सा programming language सबसे first करना चाहिए, सबसे पहली चीज क्या करनी चाहिए. So all these things I will be answering. Cool, excited. Give me a quick yes if you're excited. Yay. Awesome. Awesome. Yes. So, yes, we all are excited to dive into this one. So, this is the first slide, introduction to coding, and here it is. So these are the topics which I will be covering in this particular session. This will be a quick session, right? It is not a technical topic, so I don't think we have to spend a lot of time on this. So it will be a quick one, but it will be very very helpful for you. You know, just to map everything. कि what is this thing coding? क्योंकि हर semester में you are going to learn a programming language. So क्या purpose है उसका and where they are actually taking you. So, what is coding? The first question will be answered. What is coding? Second, should you learn coding? Definitely, we have enrolled into BC or BTech or whatever the course. We have to learn coding. But no, seriously, should you actually learn coding? Then third, how to start coding? Okay, so second question में हम आंसर कर लेंगे कि या हमें सीखना है. Yes, very good evening, Ayushi. Um, एंड थर्ड वाले के अंदर हम आंसर करेंगे कि स्टार्ट कैसे करना है. डिसाइड तो कर लिया वी हैव टू डू कोडिंग बट हाउ टू स्टार्ट. एंड देन द थर्ड वन इज द लॉन्गेस्ट स्लाइड चेन. सो जिसके अंदर हम देखेंगे कि किन किन चीज़ों के साथ आप स्टार्ट करोगे. Fourth is how to choose a project, because when you start doing coding, when you start doing programming, you have to choose a domain, you have to do some projects. So I will be helping you, giving you some points, what points you should consider while picking up some initial projects. And finally, we have some career opportunities. So after learning coding, what career opportunities you have or what jobs you can expect. Okay, and make sure the coding is not the only requirement to do work in MNCs or whatever the big companies. Okay, coding is not the only thing. Okay, so let's discuss what exactly the coding is. Okay, and before starting, अगर कहीं पे doubt आता है, if you want to ask me something, please stop me right away and ask the question. How you can ask the question? By putting your question in the chat box. So chat is your best friend. All right, so make chat your best friend. Keep interacting in it. Okay, and Manish asked, can we take up any programming language? I will be answering this because it's the very, very important question. Which programming language we should do for the very first time? Okay, I will be answering in the, I guess, third slide. All right. So, what is coding? So, this is coding is how we actually communicate with machines. Okay, whatever the machine is, it's maybe your computer, your favorite laptop, yeah, your phone, or maybe any machine. For example, a motorcycle. Yeah, motorcycle is also a machine. So उनसे communicate करने के लिए we do coding, and हर एक से communicate करने के लिए we have different programming language. So coding क्या है basically? It's a way how we interact or how we communicate with machines. What we exactly do in coding and how it's look like. So coding is nothing but set of instruction that computer reads, understand, and execute. Okay, when you give some acceleration on a motorcycle, so your machine will understand. Okay, my rider is asking me to get it up, speed up. Okay, so it will read your acceleration, understand. Okay, you want to higher the RPM, and then it will execute the same RPM. Cool. And same goes for your programming also. So if you want to do some, probably you want to make some calculator sort of thing. Okay, you want to perform 2 plus 3. So your computer will read 2, then 3, and it will read what exactly need to be done, which is a plus. It will understand this thing and give you the answer, which is 5. Okay, so after learning coding, what we can create softwares like definitely after learning coding, and in computer world, CS world, we are going to create softwares. So software like operating system. Yes, operating system is a software. Okay, don't be like कि Windows एक software है क्या? Yes, Windows is a operating system and it's a software. So operating system design कर सकते हैं. We can create web applications, we can create mobile application, we can create anything. It's limitless. Okay, whatever we see probability, we can create that. Okay, anything, text editor, desktop application, billing system, you know, employee management system, whatever it is, we can create anything. We just need to know um, computer coding or programming. So understood? Any question on this one? Nope, understood. Can we move to the next slide? Any minimum requirement for a laptop to start coding in? Minimum requirement, I will say, um, go for at least 13-inch of display with at least 8 GB of RAM and at least 512 GB of, yeah, SSD or hard disk, whatever. Okay. But in today's world, what's actually happening, people are doing coding by, taking some remote systems. So any system you have, like a system with the even minimum requirement that I just told you, you do create a one account on remote services. For example, you create account on Amazon Web Services, AWS पे account बना लिया, and you just buy some, system. So जब भी आप उस system को access करोगे, you will be paying for that. So this is the modern style of doing thing. But if you want कि नहीं, if we want to explore everything, we want to install everything on our own, so this minimum configuration will be required. Interesting. Yeah, it's so interesting. Cool. And शायद AWS will give you some free credits in the beginning. Just a tip. Okay. So next question is, should you learn coding? Yes or no? So I know you have enrolled into BTech or BC, wherever the course you have, you have to do coding there. But in the real world, like actually we want to do coding or not, these three questions can answer. Okay, so it's a truth table sort of thing. So go ahead and try answering these questions. I will be putting it, and you can write answer in the chat box. Okay, it's just true or false, or you can go for yes or no. Cool. Let's begin with this one. So we can figure out by answering these questions. The first question is, do you enjoy solving problems? Come on, quickly. Yes or no? True or false? Do you enjoy solving problems? Maths problems, no. नहीं, मैथ्स वाले प्रॉब्लम नहीं कि राम की एज ये है और श्याम की एज निकालो, तो वो वाले ही नहीं. जस्ट actual problems like you want to make a payment. So how you can create a payment thing, or you want to you know you have a lot of to do list, so you can create your own to do list. So these sort of problems, not the maths one. Great, a lot of yes. So yeah, we are one step ahead. So let's go and answer the second question. So would you like to make that hypothetical idea into lives? For example, you do a lot of things in the whole day, so you want a to-do list. Instead of going to Play Store and download a already existing to-do list, what you can do, you can create your own. Okay, so you have the idea. My to-do list will look like this. It will have this option, that option. So will you like? Okay, I'm not saying ki will you create. I'm just asking, will you like to make that hypothetical idea into lives? Yes or no? yes, it will be good to build something on our own. Yeah. If I give you my example, I really don't enjoy that notepad. So that Windows gives you, or Linux gives you. Linux file is better as compared to notepad from Windows. But what I did, I created my own notepad to write codes, and not just in one language. I created my own notepad in three different languages. First, I created that notepad in C sharp.net. Then I created my notepad using Python. And thirdly, I created my notepad in, and you will not believe this one, but I created a notepad in C programming language. Yes. सी प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज, अगर किसी ने सुना होगा इसके बारे में, तो प्रॉब्ली यू नो कि सी लैंग्वेज से हम कंसोल एप्लीकेशन बना लेते हैं, और इफ यू हैव डन सम थोड़ा बहुत सी में अगर प्रोग्राम करा होगा, तो यू हैव बेसिक आइडिया कंसोल एप्लीकेशंस कैसे बनते हैं, यूजर से इनपुट लेना, आउटपुट देना. बट आई क्रिएट अ GUI एप्लीकेशन using C programming language. Okay, so yeah, I see a lot of yes for the same second question also. Cool. So Vinita says cool. It's so interesting. And if you want all those text editor, those are on my GitHub. Okay, you can go to my GitHub. You can simply search advox, ADWALKZ. Cool name. Okay, so advox is my sort of keyword. So if you just search advox on your Google, you will find every link, um, every platform linking with me. So GitHub and LinkedIn, whatever it is, you will find was just using this. What is GitHub? Oh, really? GitHub. It's version control system, or you can say repository where you put your code. GitHub is very very important. If you actually next slides can I will be mentioning these things what you should know before doing coding. So I think GitHub is there. Okay, so you can go to my GitHub, and I think it has 25 plus repositories, and all my three text editors are there with the code. So go enjoy with them after this live, of course. Okay, now let's try to answer the third last question, which is, do you wanna be a reason behind your user's smile? So probably you are creating the software, but not just for yourself. You want your software to be consumed by everyone. Every user should be consuming your software, right? And when they are using it, they will be smiling. So do you want to see that smile? Come on. Yes, no, true, false. Yes. Did you start early today? Oh, yeah, according to IST, it's 6:17 and live was at 6 o'clock. So I guess we started 6 o'clock. All right, so Manish says yes, they want to see that smile on their users face. So अगर ये तीनों क्वेश्चन के, या फिर एटलीस्ट इनमें से दो क्वेश्चन के आंसर यस हैं आपके लिए, so you should learn coding. You are good to go for doing coding. जो basic requirement है to do for doing coding, you have it. Okay. कोडिंग प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज सीखने से नहीं आती है, कोडिंग इंस्पिरेशन से आती है, फ्रॉम द वेरी इनसाइट. Cool. So nice. Let's go to the next slide. I think we enjoyed this one a lot. So in this particular slide, I will be explaining how to start coding. Okay. So in previous one, we got to know, okay, coding is for us. We want to do coding, right? But now how to start it? So कैसे start करना coding को? So these are five simple steps I simplified. Like five simple steps are there. The first step says find out what application you want to develop. Okay, so in our CS world, we have a lot of types in application. Okay, your application could be a web application, which is simplest to access, right? Just go to the browser, put up the domain name, and you will reach the application. Second application is your desktop application, where you go to a store, probably Microsoft Store, या फिर App Store, या फिर to the website of that vendor, and you download that packages. Okay, then just with a couple of click, next, you got the software installed on your system. Okay, so that is the second type of application. Third could be your mobile application. You go to Play Store or again App Store, you download the particular application and you start consuming it. Okay, so broadly we have these categories. So first you have to decide what sort of application you want to create. So if you want to create a weather app, so this weather app will be accessible in your Chrome browser, or you want that to be installed on user's system. How you want, like what you want, like what application you want to create. Okay, so first try to answer this question: what sort of application you want? You want a desktop application, you want a web application, or you want a mobile application? Okay. um, After answering this one, next question will be how learn tools, or next step will be learn tools to develop that application. So let's suppose now we know we want to create a web application. Okay, हमने decide कर लिया our weather app will be accessible on Google Chrome. Anyone will go to weather.com, will get the weather. Okay, hypothetically, I don't know whether .com exists or not. So the hypothetical idea is everyone will go to weather.com and get the weather. So this is the idea, and we have decided कि we are going with the Google Chrome. Okay, web application बनाएंगे. Now second thing, tools. हमें वो tools सीखने पड़ेंगे जो weather.com को create करेगा. So first of all, we should know some, client side programming. Okay, client side programming के लिए we go for HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Okay, and then we will cover the backend of our web application, which can be covered in any language, depending on what programming language you have learned earlier, or if you are just starting, so you can go for any language. So for example, backend के लिए we can go for Java, we can go for Python, right? A lot of programming languages are there, C Sharp, .NET, ASP.NET, से जा सकते हो. So बहुत सारे options है for backend. Even you can go with JavaScript. So JavaScript is something that you can learn and handle your front end as well as backend. So both things you can learn with JavaScript. Okay, for example, you have learned Python. So Python is used for backend, but something came up very recently, which is known as PyScript. I will not talk about a lot about PyScript because I haven't tried on my own, but it was interesting. So probably one day I will talk about it. Okay, so yeah, so if you decide your front end and back end. Front end ke liye to we have just three options. You should know CSS, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Three options are there. Your browser only understand these three things. For backend, for server side, or you can say for server side, you should go for Python के साथ you should know a framework. For example, if you're going for Python, you should know either Django or Flask. Okay, if you know Java, so you should know servlets and GSP. Okay, all right. A few more tools are there. These are just broadly categorized. Few more tools will be there. Either you have to maintain your own database, or you can fetch information from some government server. Okay, for that you will be needing some APIs, microservices. So these things will be required. So for API, you can go for REST API, and yeah, okay, just to fetching the information from the government's cloud. So these will be the tools that you need to learn to develop your application. Okay, what's all right? A quick check. I'm audible. Yeah, cool. Okay, so maybe there is a glitch. Okay. Yes. Thanks for confirming. Thanks. Thank you. All right, so now let's go to the third one. Third one says learn software standards. Now you know all the tools, you know what application you want to develop, you know all the tools that will be used to develop. Third, you should know the software standards. Okay, without knowing software standards, you will be creating, I don't know what. Maybe हो सकता है the final product is good, maybe हो सकता है it's not that awesome. Okay, शायद आप उसको देखने में अच्छा बना दो, look and feel अच्छा बना दो, but chances हैं कि for example weather.com got a huge success. Okay, entire globe is using my weather.com to get the weather. Okay, it's a huge success. Now I want to scale it up. Okay, I want to scale it up. If you don't use good software standard, you will be facing a lot of difficulties while scaling your application. Okay, so yeah, that is very very important to follow the software standards. So there are some standards for your SRS के कुछ standards हैं. We have those SRS standards, so we have to follow that. Scaling mean you want to increase the size what or features. Basically you want to increase the features of your web application. Okay, so for example earlier your web application worked like I have to go to the weather.com, then I have to search for my city. But now what I want कि automatically fetch हो जाए. ओके यूजर वेंट टू weather.com, ऑटोमेटिकली मैंने लोकेशन फेच की और एग्जैक्टली exactly उस लोकेशन के लिए मैंने वेदर उसको ला करके दिया. नॉट लाइक इट फॉर एग्जांपल आई एम इन दिल्ली, सो दिल्ली में क्या टेम्परेचर हो रहा है, आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि दिल्ली में क्या टेम्परेचर हो रहा है, आई एम सेइंग कि एग्जैक्टली आपकी लोकेलिटी में क्या टेम्परेचर हो रहा है. ओके, सो वी वांट टू स्केल इट अप. So if you're following a good software standard practices, so it will be easy for you or for your team. Maybe you develop entire weather.com on your own, but now you want to make it a big company, so you will be needing a team. All the team member will only sync up when they all are following the same documentation, right? So some standards are required. Okay, so we will start by you know from the very starting we will be following those standards. The fourth point is the same, not exactly same. We have to maintain our documentation. Okay, so if you see any software on the internet, any package, anything, you will find their documentation. Okay, for example you start using Python, so there is a very nice documentation for Python, what all functions Python have, what all errors Python have. So all those things are very very nicely maintained on python.org. Okay, so similarly you have to maintain your documentation, your user manual wala documentation, your development team wala documentation. You have to maintain all those documentation. Document is very very important. Okay, if you want to go in a longer run, documentation is required. So these third and fourth point, the software standards and maintaining documents, are for those who want who want to go in longer run. Otherwise you can jump to the fifth and start developing. Okay, right after second point you learn all those tools, just jump to the fifth one and start developing. Because if you don't start developing, you will you will have nothing. Okay, but if you want something which is standard and for a longer run, you have to follow third and fourth too. Cool, clear? These 5 points clear? Yay, very nice. Cool, great, awesome guys. So now let's go to the next slide and let's see what we have there. Yeah, the most important slides actually. So this is how to start coding. Can the second wala um, learn before coding. These are few things that you should learn before learning the coding. So the very first thing is data structures and algorithm. Okay, so coding, like after learning coding, we will be doing programming, of course. बट प्रोग्रामिंग क्या है, वी आर इम्प्लीमेंटिंग ऑल दोज डेटा स्ट्रक्चर्स एंड एल्गोरिथम जो हमने पहले से डिसाइड करके रखे होंगे. सो यू शुड बी नोइंग व्हाट डेटा स्ट्रक्चर्स, कौन सा डेटा स्ट्रक्चर कहाँ पे लगाना चाहिए, व्हाट एल्गोरिथम शुड आई यूज इफ आई हैव अ बिग सेट ऑफ डेटा, इफ आई हैव अ वेरी स्मॉल सेट ऑफ डेटा. सो मेक अ डिसीजन कि कौन सा एल्गोरिथम विल बी अ गुड फिट. ओके, सो बिफोर लर्निंग कोडिंग, जस्ट थोड़ा सा आइडिया हो इनके बारे में, इट विल बी वेरी गुड. डेटा स्ट्रक्चर्स एंड एल्गोरिथम. Second is your version control system, and this is nothing but your Git. We have a lot of version control system, but one of the famous one and which everyone use is the Git. So you should be knowing the Git. Okay, so Git kya hai? Git is a repository where you store your code. Okay, and secondly, it is a version control system. So what is a version control system? For example, you created some initial pages of your application. Okay, and you want to experiment ki if you do this, will it be a good thing or not for your application. So what we can do, we can create two forks of same application. Okay, so यहाँ तक हमारा same application आ रहा था, इस point पे आकर के we created two different forks. Cool. Now this fork has the original code, and this fork is the copy. So now go ahead and make changes in this one. Okay, experiment your whatever the suggestions. Ki like if we add the red color, kaise lagega? So you can do that sort of changes in the second fork. And if it looks fine, if you feel ki yes, this will improve your application quality, merge them. If it's not, drop it. No one will know. Okay, so this is how we can actually fork and have a very nice track of all our versions we created. Okay, so version control system helps you a lot for maintainability. Okay, maintenance बहुत अच्छा हो जाता है. Plus they have a lot of tools. For example, you want to check the difference between the purana wala file and naya wala file. Okay, what are all the differences you made or maybe your teammate made. So वो वहाँ पे भी help करेगा. So version control system is very very important to learn in our CS world. And third, which is the final one, which is software development cycle. You should be knowing what strategy you have to follow. पहले क्या होना चाहिए, फिर बाद में क्या होना चाहिए. So that was, there is something known as waterfall, um, you know, um, waterfall method for your software development cycle. But that's the old one, पुराना जमाने का है वो. So nowadays we use agile, where while developing your project in agile sort of way, you can implement or add a new feature at any point of time. This is not allowed in waterfall model. Okay, but in agile it allow you, it is always open for new ideas. So you should be knowing ki agile kya hota hai. It will be a good thing if you learn about those. Okay, so these things you should know, maybe not very perfectly, but थोड़ा थोड़ा पता होना चाहिए um, before starting the coding. All right, I make it clear what things you need before doing coding. Cool, great. So you guys are enjoying this one? Yay! All right, because next slide is even more interesting. Let's check it out. Cool. So computer language to start with. This is one of the question that I got every time कि कौन सी language से start करना चाहिए. So to answer this question, be very very sure. See, not all applications. Uh, yeah, we went something to practice also. We want okay, cool. All right. So this is the question like कौन सी first programming language मेरी होनी चाहिए. Okay, बहुत famous question. Everyone keep asking this one, but the answer is not one single answer. Okay, your answer will change depending on what sort of application you want to create. Okay, so that's why I created three categories here. The first one is for automation sort of thing. second one is for your web development, and third one is for your console applications. Okay, so these three category I create for the early birds. Okay, later on maybe you are creating REST APIs, microservices, GUI application, or maybe server side programming database. All those things will be there, but in the very starting I categorize application into three parts: automation, web, and console. Okay, so if you want to do some sort of automations, so you can go ahead and start learning the shell scripting or any scripting language. Okay, any scripting language will work. So if you want to do automation, go for scripting. Shell script will be a good option. If you want to learn web programming, so start with HTML. Okay, HTML, then CSS, and then you can go for JavaScript. Okay, and if you keep you know you start getting interest into web application, go ahead and start learning more deeper topics. For example, start learning some JavaScript framework. The simplest one will be your React, and if you have a nice grip on React, then go for a bigger one, maybe Angular. Okay, or if you are just getting interest in JavaScript, learn the JavaScript standards, because JavaScript has a lot of standards. ECMA, if you know about that. Or you can go and learn TypeScript, which is coming from Microsoft. So a lot of things we can do in web development. So, but both of these things are not for you, so third one will might fit, which is the programming application to create console applications. Okay, so if you want to create some console application, or if you want to start with any programming language, especially I'm just talking about programming languages. Okay, above two are not programming language. HTML is not a programming language. Shell scripting is not a programming language. Okay, that's a script. Second one, what is shell script? um Script, what are the script? Okay, you must have heard about bash files. Okay, like if you want to perform some sort of task, you can just run a bash file and it will done everything for you automatically. Any idea about bash file? Nick? Nope. Okay, cool. So okay, so just to make it just to answer it very simply, shell script is a scripting language where you write some sort of commands. Okay, for example, you want to create a new directory, you want to do some email, you want to read some file. Okay, all these things you want, but let's say my requirement is I want to run just one application, and all these three tasks will be done, should be done. So go ahead and write a shell script for it. Okay, so what you just need to do, instead of running three different tasks, you have to run just one single one and everything will be done. That's why I labeled it as for automation enthusiastic. So if you want to do some automations, you can go ahead and learn scripting language. Cool. And if you want to go in web, you can go ahead and start learning HTML. And if you want to go for any programming language, so for example, some students got confused which language should I start with, C++, Java, or Python. I think these 4 5 options are always on the table, which I should select. Okay, हमेशा confusion होता है इनके बीच में. So I will always suggest, if we are starting from very scratch, start with C programming language. Okay, C programming language will clear all your fundamentals. Okay, all your fundamentals, like what data type should you use at what time, typecasting कैसे करनी है, how to access addresses. So these questions will be answered in your C programming language. This is the fundamental. So I always suggest, if you want to start learning programming, do at least C language. Okay, C language is just like learning alphabets. Okay, we want to make sentences, we first learn alphabets. So C languages, alphabets of programming languages. Okay, after learning C, you can go to any programming language and you will feel comfortable. Okay, so if you want to learn JavaScript, you can first learn C language and then go for JavaScript. You can also do that, or you can directly jump to JavaScript. um, some might find some difficulty कि okay what are this var let क्या है ये सब चीजें. But if you do C programming language, you will be having a good idea what are the data types, what are data domain structure, क्या होता है union, क्या होता है, what are the constant, what are the non-readable memory. So all these things will be answered in your C language. It's a fundamental. So this is my suggestion. um, so yeah, from from my suggestion, I think C language is the best language to start with. Cool. ओके, एक डिस्क्लेमर भी दे देता हूँ. इफ आई एम जस्ट राइटिंग सी लैंग्वेज हियर, इट डजंट मीन कि आई डोंट लाइक other languages. Okay, I love all programming language that exist. We have 300 plus programming languages um, on this date. 300 plus programming languages, and I have a great respect for every programming language. So if I'm mentioning C language, doesn't mean I'm not in the favor of other languages. I love all programming languages. Cool. So now let's suppose you have picked your application ka type. You have picked your programming language. What you want to learn. Third thing is the tools. What tools you will be needing to create some application. Okay, what tools you are required. So first of all, you need some operating system. How did you do that? That's a tough one. I don't know. It's just I want to. As I told you, programming comes from the inspiration. So yeah, cool. So to now it's time to learn some programming tools. Okay. So first of all, you should know some operating system. Most of you I know are on Windows, but I really suggest you to switch to Linux. I'm so sorry, Microsoft, but I want everyone to use Linux. Okay. If you use Linux, Linux is faster than your Windows, secure than your Windows, free in terms of economy, right? So you are paying a lot of price for Windows. So yeah, I'm not some agent from Linux, but yeah, I will definitely suggest you to start learning Linux operating system. Okay, and Linux operating system, you will find something known as terminal. Let's suppose you are not you know with the idea of learning new operating system, you are still on Windows. There you have command prompt. Okay, if you're on Windows, use command prompt instead of doing everything by a click. Start using command prompt. That will be the most valuable suggestion for this entire life. Okay, start using terminal. Third, pick your favorite text editor. Okay, it could be your simple notepad. It could be your terminal based text editors. For example, Vim is a very famous um, terminal based text editor. So I most of the time use Vim text editor. But since we are beginners, we are just started learning all these things, so बहुत सारा learning हो जाएगा beginning में. We don't want that. Okay, so you can start with a simple ID. One of the lightest and features वाला जो ID है, that is I guess will be your VS Code. VS Code is something like it is light plus it has a lot of features. Okay. Uh, yeah, so just to be very familiar with all those programming things, so you can start with some ID also. But I highly suggest go with a vanilla text writer who don't give you code highlighting, who don't give you code suggestions. Okay, so if you're not getting code suggestions, you will start writing the entire code on your own. Otherwise, I have seen some developers who say ki we can only code if you give me the VS code. Okay, I don't want you be so dependent on IDs. That's why I'm saying ki use vanilla text editor, simple text editors. Okay, the final thing is the compiler interpreter, or browser, depending on what application you have selected. So, for example, you are creating application in Java, you need a compiler. You are creating application in Python, you need interpreter. You are creating web application, you need a browser to test. Okay, so this will be dependent on your choice, what you choice made in the very first point. Cool. So these are the tools which will be required to start your journey. What kind of tool is terminal? Terminal is everything. Okay, if you learn about operating systems, we have something known as shell layer sort of thing. Okay, where you directly interact with your kernel. Cool. So terminal is the window to take you, give command directly to the kernel. So you can give commands directly to the kernel from terminal. So from terminal you have access of everything. You can do everything from terminal. Even I have created a lot of application. Even your GUI application like C का जो GUI application था जिसमें मैंने text editor बनाया था. So वो मैंने सिर्फ और सिर्फ terminal के अंदर ही बनाया. I use Vim text editor for writing my code and terminal to execute and test my editor. So yeah. Okay. And it's very light. आपको install करने की जरूरत नहीं है. Already आपके पास installed होता है. In Windows you have command prompt. In Linux you have terminal. And in Mac OS again you have terminal. So yeah. Cool. Um, all okay till here? Any question? Because I think we are moving toward the end of the session. So any question? I think a few slides are left. Nope. That's awesome. Great. Great. Okay. So now let's see how to choose a project. Okay. Till here we have selected, we have learned everything, and we have everything that is required. We have programming tools, we have coding knowledge, we know, some programming language, everything we know. Now it's time to create your project, and it is very important to choose your project from your domain. Okay, so मैंने third point सबसे पहले ही read कर दिया, which is choose a project that belongs to domain of your interest. Okay, coming back to the weather.com wala example, that weather.com is a web application. So maybe I have interest in web application, so I'm choosing my product, or I'm choosing my project into this domain only. Okay, so it's not like I like my web application but I'm creating some mobile application key. People will go to the Play Store and download my weather.com app and check the weather. I'm not doing that. If I want web application, I'm creating a web application. Okay, first point. Yes, let's go to the first point. First point is project must be simple. Okay, your project should not sound complex at the very first or at the very beginning stages. It should not sound complex, it should be very very simple. Okay, and start implementing things gradually. All right, so look around any software. Like if you see Google today, it was not the same. Like if you go even just 2 years back. Okay, 2 years back Google was not exactly same जो वो आज के दिन पर है, right? So they launch few things, they start working on it, and धीरे धीरे gradually they spread their product. Okay, it's not like कि हमने first day पे ये पूरा का पूरा project बना के खड़ा कर दिया. No, none project works like that. Okay, you release the very first thing and it got success. People start giving you reviews, this is good, this is bad, this should be there, this should not be there. Then you taking those reviews, after taking those reviews you will start working on different modules of your project. So this is how big project is made. All right, so this is the first thing. Project must be very simple. थर्ड थिंग हमने पहले ही देख लिया कि इट शुड बिलोंग टू द डोमेन ऑफ योर इंटरेस्ट. सेकंड पॉइंट इज स्मॉल योर सॉल्व्स योर स्मॉलेस्ट रियल वर्ल्ड प्रॉब्लम. जैसे हमने स्टार्टिंग में टू डू लिस्ट की बात कर रहे थे. सो फॉर एग्जांपल यू डू अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स इन द एंटायर डे, यू वांट अ टू डू लिस्ट. सो इंस्टेड ऑफ डाउनलोडिंग from Play Store, you created your own to-do list. Okay, so that's the smallest real world problem. So that having a list is the problem. Okay, not having the list is a problem. So you created one, and the problem is solved. So that's what developers do, solving problems. Okay, so start solving your problem. Okay, so start with your problem, and it will gradually increase to the world. Sounds good? Yeah, cool, better, great. Okay, so I guess this is the final slide, which says career opportunities. So, what career opportunities? Again, I will be giving a disclaimer. By just learning coding, you will not be getting these jobs. Okay, so coding is just one aspect of getting that getting job in this field. Okay, so for example, if you want to do cloud computing, so coding will be there, but we have to first understand the architecture, how cloud works. Okay, so every domain works differently. Okay, so just pick your domain. For example, you want to be a cloud developer, pick the cloud developer and start learning those things that a cloud developer should know. If you want to be a software developer, start learning those things that a software developer should know. Same for game development, machine learning, data science, whatever. Okay, finally I have written web development, and then etc. So any field you want to go, coding will be there, but that is not the only aspect. Okay, you should be knowing a lot of things about that particular domain. Cool. So for example, you want to be a cloud computing, or a cloud developer. You know coding, but you don't know what a cloud is, how cloud works. It will not work. Yeah, getting. Cool. So these are the career opportunities. You can go for any domain of your choice. You have a sector here. You can go for any domain you want. And yeah, that's it for today's live. Thank you.